In Tanzania, near the shores of Lake Eyasi in the Great Rift Valley, lives an ancient tribe known as the Hadza. This tribe carries an unbroken legacy, a direct connection to humanity's earliest way of life. While the modern world races forward with technology, the Hadza still live as our ancestors did, hunting, gathering, and surviving without reliance on farming or livestock. In this video, you'll discover how the Hadza have survived through droughts, tribal conflicts, and the pressures of modern society. What's their secret to resilience? How have they managed to live in harmony with nature without leaving a lasting mark on the environment? My dear viewers, thank you for your continuous support. If you're already subscribed, we truly appreciate you. For new viewers, a warm welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with more fascinating stories. Now, watch the video and explore the incredible story of the Hadza, the living legacy of humanity's ancient roots. You sit where you are, a modern man or woman connected by the internet, airliners, the stock exchange, and international trade. So it is a strange and perhaps comforting thought that in an area rich with hominid fossils, there is an apex predator, a fellow Homo sapiens. Nestled in the Great Rift Valley on the banks of Tanzania's Lake Eyasi, the Hadza people are among the last of the true hunter-gatherers, a connection to your pre-agrarian past. In Hadza oral history, there is no record of famine. When neighboring countries and tribes have reported such events, they have remained self-sufficient, never taking more than they need, which is considered rude, and adapting to their environment instead of changing it. The Hadza, also known as the Hadzabe, are historically nomadic, moving with the seasons and attending to their immediate needs. They have been doing this in the region of Lake Eyasi in Tanzania for the last 50,000 years. However, their once borderless world has become more and more confined due to the pressure of other tribes and agricultural encroachment. Ultimately, the Tanzanian government were motivated to create a Hadza reservation in 2011. Although the Hadza now have land rights to 1,000 square miles, it is a quarter of their original range. The Bantu expansion, which began about 3,000 years ago, resulted in the loss of many of the hunter-gatherer tribes in Africa, one of the greatest influences being domestic cattle, taking over the grazing of the free-roaming antelope that hunter-gatherers preyed on. Driven from their lands in Kenya by the Masi warriors about 2,000 years ago, the pastoralist Iraqiabu and Datoga tribes started encroaching into Hadza territory from the northeast. The Asanzu, farmers of millet and sorghum, settled to the south of Hadza territory and sometimes kidnapped them for the slave trade. Hadza women were kidnapped by the Datoga, and skirmishes would break out when cattle of neighboring tribes were killed by the Hadza, but marriage between these groups was not uncommon. Today, the Datoga, the fastest-growing tribe in Tanzania, live bordering the Hadza, and in the dry season, hostility builds up as the Datoga use Hadza watering holes for their livestock, placing considerable pressure on resources in an already agriculturally challenging region. Among a total population of around 1,200, less than half of the Hadza still adhere to the hunter-gatherer way of life. The population has grown steadily since the 1960s, along with population density, as they now inhabit a smaller area. Genealogy. The Hadza are not closely related to any other people. Genealogists believe they are so unique at gene level that they could be one of the primary roots in mankind's family tree. The Hadza will tell you that they originated from a tree, descending from a giraffe's neck into a baobab and onto earth. Language. The Hadza language is simple, yet it has held the fascination of linguists for half a century. Hadzane is one of the oldest languages that employ click sounds, supposedly so as not to scare off prey. It was once believed that Hadzane was related to the language of the Khoisan, but it has since been classified as an isolated language, meaning it is entirely unique to the Hadza. Religion. Having chosen to ignore the holy words of the missionaries, their religion is minimalistic, and their society is truly egalitarian. Modern influences and challenges. Ultimately, the Hadza are regarded as an embarrassment to a modernizing Tanzania, when perhaps they should be an example to a society far too dependent on technology. The Hadza, armed with wood bows, hardly seem to have left a footprint on the land in the tens of thousands of years that they have lived among the megafauna of northern Tanzania. Tourism, the one industry that could possibly protect the Hadza way of life, has introduced alcohol and alcoholism, and due to their prolonged isolation, the Hadza's immune systems are unable to cope with Western diseases like measles and tuberculosis. The Hadza youth seem to be caught between a rock and hard place. At a young age, Hadza children usually bear the scars of the bush, the harsh lessons of the wild. Increasingly, children are being sent to school and are losing the ability to survive the way their ancestors did, and Hadza children don't flourish in the Western schooling system. The Hadza's current situation of disease, land degradation, and segregation is not far from a past already written on the Great Plains of America centuries ago. This tribe has become an egalitarian island, lost somewhere in time. While you take business calls on your cellular phone, there is a hunter following the call of the honey guide to the hives high up in the baobab tree, arrows dipped in deadly desert rose poison, ready for a baboon raid. In conclusion, the Hadzabe tribe is a symbol of the deep connection between humanity and nature. Their simple lifestyle, ancient traditions, and resourceful way of life teach us the importance of preserving the environment and cultural heritage. Although they face many challenges from modern changes and external influences, the Hadzabe have managed to retain their unique identity and traditions. This report highlights the significance of respecting and valuing indigenous cultures like the Hadzabe. It serves as a reminder that progress and tradition do not have to be in conflict, but can coexist in a balanced way when managed wisely. Final thoughts. The Hadzabe are not only a community with a rich heritage, but also a living example of human resilience, patience, and connection to the earth. It is our responsibility to learn from their lessons and contribute to efforts to protect their culture and the environment in which they live. Thank you.